I think Murray epitomizes what the Charles Whistler Award is all about. Murray cares so much about all of the different things that make the city of Indianapolis so great, whether it's the governance of how the city of Indianapolis is governed, whether it is bringing new businesses to the city of Indianapolis, whether it is, again, working on the challenges that our neighbors or that our schools or that our hospitals have. Murray digs in on the really complex, difficult issues facing our city.
He just is a genuinely transparent servant. Very influential, connected to a lot of people who are influential, but he's approachable. I mean, he's so approachable. He's someone that I have the privilege of calling a friend, and I know if I needed something either personally or if I needed something for Indiana soccer, I wouldn't hesitate to give him a call and know that he would be there to assist.
He's a very kind person, very soft-spoken. I've never heard him yell. Maybe he does and I don't know about it, but I think he's thoughtful. I think he cares about the way we operate the city and the way we grow, and that we're fair.
For what he's meant to me as the leader of Brebeuf is he can be a conscience, you know, and giving me good clarity of sort of what's out there in the community, and that ties into his, you know, love for the Indianapolis region, you know, that he wants Brebeuf to be the best that we can possibly be, because he wants us to be part of this Indianapolis community.
Murray has been my friend and colleague in all sorts of community ventures. He's an amazing guy. He comes from a part of a great family, and he has a great family, a great wife who is a pediatric dentist and wonderful children. I suspect there are few that love Indianapolis or Indiana more than Murray Clark.
I initially met Murray through the not-for-profit world. Both of us had kids playing in the game of soccer. He's got a son who plays baseball, he's got daughters that play soccer, but I met him through the soccer environment. And at that time, I was serving as the president of that organization. Indiana Soccer serves about 60,000 kids directly. That's about what the registration numbers are. But based on the fact that the organization is being able to mature and grow into a much more high-performing organization, based on that foundation that was established back when Murray got involved and stayed involved until the last 4 or 5 years, we now have a goal of serving the entire 1.1 million kids that are age appropriate, or at least school-aged, in Indiana. And that wouldn't have been possible if it hadn't been for Murray.
I suspect one of his real hallmarks is he has a wide panorama of friends all across the spectrum. Politics, in terms of friends, is not very important to Murray. Friendship is far more important. I knew his dad very well and knew his uncle Alex, who was mayor of Indianapolis probably since the late 1960s. So Murray is a part of a great Indianapolis family.
I think a lot was expected of Murray because the city had been so important in the family's life. And he and his wife, Janet, a pediatric dentist, one of my dearest friends, they have raised their 4 children here in Indianapolis. And all of these young professionals have stayed in the city of Indianapolis. They care so much about our city, and they are showing it by committing, I think, to stay in this city and to stay here in the state. And it's been really fun to know that that legacy, the Clark legacy, which has been a very long and strong legacy of giving back to the city, is going to continue.
He and Janet, I feel, are some of my ardent supporters here at Brebeuf. Really, from the first time that I met Murray, I met him first on the board. He was just very engaging to me, I think, as a Jesuit, but also as someone who was interested in Brebeuf. Both of them have been very involved. Both of them have been chairs of the board. But Murray himself exemplifies what Brebeuf is about. He has served on probably almost every committee that we have listed, but he, since he was board chair, but he was on the Presidential Search Committee twice. I think he chaired one of them. He was on the alumni board, for many years, helping with strategic planning, financial stability, all those things that go into the school. He's been very involved with.
When he became chairman of Gypsy, I think it was, I think I enjoyed working with him because I think he was a good listener. He was the chairman of Gypsy when we went through some very trying times. He did it very calmly. He was very open to suggestions about how we were going to fix it, or make it better than it was, and he did not hold back in telling us anything that he knew, and was open for questions and comments that we had on the board and executive committee, and I appreciated that, because at first you don't know whether they're going to tell you everything that's happened. And he turned it around. He did turn it around. He was very open about it. I think he wanted to bring Gypsy more out to the public than it had been before, and I think in celebrating that we had existed and we were still growing, I think meant a lot really to the city itself, because it was the mayor's way of communicating with the business community, this private-public, partnership that we have always had. And I think that's important. I think it's important that we have people who are open-minded about things. I think the public needs to see that. I think our state has changed. It used to be just a solid Republican state. It is not a solid Republican state any longer. I think we have a mixture there, and I think there are a lot of people like myself who are independent. They want to see what you're going to do for the city, what are you going to do to make us better, And I think the culture here has changed a great deal too. We're much more open to people from foreign countries. We're much more open to having different people on your boards, and I think that was really important.
Murray was elected as a state senator representing the northern part of Indianapolis and Hamilton County, or parts of Hamilton County, back in 1994. I believe he served from 94 to 2005. And his family was young during that time. He was but an incredibly passionate legislator. He did an amazing job for the city of Indianapolis, and I know that because I happened to be deputy mayor under Mayor Goldsmith during 1998 and 1999. And what I really admired about Murray is he made relationships, obviously, all around the state, and really ensured that the senators recognize the incredible importance of our capital city. And he was such an advocate for the capital city of Indianapolis and really brought the legislature together to support the city of Indianapolis. I think Murray also inspired a lot of us in his public service and the way in which he served.
He's a servant leader. He loves people. Not only is he on a first-name basis with the city of Indianapolis and in many parts of the state of Indiana, he also knows people by their first name. And he genuinely likes people. He likes to engage people. He's contagious. So when you see what he wants to accomplish, those visions that he shares, people gravitate to those. And so he's just, just a master connector. And when you connect good people doing good things for all the right reasons, well, good things happen.
And I think one of the most important things about Murray is that he has an incredibly bipartisan spirit. And obviously, John Dillon and I nominated Murray for this award in a bipartisan way because he really values bipartisanship. And so whoever can get through that, victory and win that elected spot, particularly when it comes to Indianapolis, he's going to support that person. So he has so many friends across the aisle, and he taught me the importance of that.
He's very smart, and he's a person that brings the best out in others. He's not a big shot. He's an inclusive, everybody come together and let's get this done kind of leader. He cares, most importantly, and I do think he's one of those special people that is more focused on what gets done, getting it done, than who gets the credit for it.
A great good fortune of my youth was to know Chuck Whistler a little bit and to appreciate, while we still had him, what an incredible, priceless asset he was to the city of Indianapolis. And to this day, we can look around us all the time and say that wouldn't have been there without Chuck Whistler. Murray Clark is in that same mold. His list of accomplishments, contributions is extraordinary, Whistler-like, you could say. And a long time from now, someone will be sitting in a position like this, looking around what I know will be a great, even more thriving city than the one that the Whistlers and Clarks have built, and say that over there wouldn't have happened without Murray Clark.